Kaufman Cabs, El Burro, Red County, Boccino, Leaf Links Golf Club, Los Santos Vagos, Grove Street, and many others. We know these names very well from the GTA series, and we've simply accepted them as something that just is in GTA. We also recognize that some of them include references to real-world elements. For example, we know that Los Santos is the counterpart to Los Angeles. Los Angeles can be translated as the Angels, while Los Santos translates to the Saints. But it turns out that some of the names of things, locations, and characters are pure Rockstar genius. Not only is there practically no randomness in naming throughout the GTA series, but in many cases, the names were crafted with incredible attention to detail. Real chef's kiss stuff. We'll kick off the video with an icon of the GTA series, Grove Street. Here, we figured it made the most sense to start with the beta name of the gang based in that cul-de-sac, which, of course, is the Grove Street families. In the beta version, as you probably know, this gang was originally called the Orange Grove families. The actual Grove Street is based on a similar cul-de-sac in the Compton neighborhood of LA, the hometown of artists like Dr. Dre and MC8, whose music features heavily on San Andreas radio stations.
Dre's in the neighborhood and he's up to no good.
That cul-de-sac is located on East Cocoa Street. Now, the word grove, of course, means a small wooded area or a thicket of trees. So from that, we can deduce that the name Orange Grove is a reference to Cocoa Street, meaning something like a cocoa tree grove, since cacao fruit actually has an orange hue, hence the name Orange. Boccino, the capo of the Pegorino family from GTA 4, is probably best remembered for always having at least as much to say as your average aunt at a family gathering. What's even more interesting though is the lingering mystery of whether Ray was actually the police informant or not. Remember, before any concrete evidence showed up, Pegorino had already told Nico to take Ray out, just to be safe. Now, we have a feeling that developers actually gave us the answer to this question, cleverly hidden in Ray's last name. See, Bocci in Italian means balls. It's also the name of the popular Italian long game, named so because it's all about balls. One of the balls used in this game, the smallest one, is called Boccino, a diminutive form of boccia. In English, you might translate Boccino to something like little ball. But don't worry, Ray himself isn't being called a little ball here. That wouldn't make sense anyway. There's another absolutely brilliant connection that Rockstar may have made here. Strangely enough, it links back to Harry Potter. In the series, there's the sport Quidditch, basically flying broomstick handball. The only way for a Quidditch match to end is if the designated player of a team catches the so-called golden snitch, which is a very small, fast, and autonomous, and therefore very hard to find and catch ball. Catching it grants the team whose seekers snatch the snitch a total of 150 points. Now, a little bit of lore which will be crucial to understand here. In the early days of Quidditch, instead of a ball, they used real birds called golden snidgets. Fast, agile, and extremely rare. Because they became an endangered species, they were eventually replaced by a mechanical version, the snitch. The name snitch here isn't just inspired by the bird, but also by its original meaning, so to capture it in a quick and clever way, or just to steal, as that's the manner you usually steal things. You gotta be quick and clever. And it also reflects the way the snitch is caught in Quidditch. In this case, it doesn't have anything to do with the slang meaning of the word snitch, so an informant. The Italian translators of Harry Potter ran with this and translated golden snitch as Boccino d'oro, referencing the little ball from their traditional game Bocci. And Rockstar? They seem to have taken this genius connection even further, naming Ray Boccino as a triple pun on all these meanings, taking the Italian translation of snitch, meaning little ball that has to be quickly caught, and using it back in English in their game to mean an informant as a surname of one of the characters. So if you take everything into account, the word snitch in the meaning of informing and the events in GTA 4, you can clearly see the analogy. Ray was hard to pin down, slippery, always keeping you guessing whose side he was really on. He played smart, but the problem was his boss Pegorino was a hothead who didn't mess around. He didn't have any proof that Ray was a snitch, but rumor and gut feeling were enough for him to send Ray to the grave. So when you trace back the etymology of Ray's name, it's very possible that Rockstar was hinting to us that yes, Ray really was a snitch who cut a deal behind the scenes. Kaufman Cabs, the taxi company in GTA Vice City, which we can buy as Tommy later in the story. At first glance, when you look at the name, especially those who had some dealings with the German language, they may think that this word has something to do with the German word for buying, so Kaufen. But that's not at all what the developers had in mind. What they were actually referencing was the American comedian Andy Kaufman, who played the role of a taxi mechanic in the show Taxi. His surname probably does derive from the German word for a merchant, so they're Kaufman, but that's not what Rockstar is referencing here. Next up is Los Santos Vagos, one of the gangs that rivals CJ and his crew. So El Vago in Spanish means a lazy or unproductive person. This ties into a certain American stereotype of the quote lazy Mexican, a caricature portraying Latinos, especially Mexicans, as people who are not eager to work, often hanging around in the streets, usually with a beer in hand. It's a stereotype that is definitely harmful to many people of Mexican descent, but like with every stereotype, there's often a grain of truth behind how it's perceived. Rockstar took this stereotype and ran with it. When you look at how the Los Santos Vagos live on the streets in the game, along with their clear disinterest in working, especially legal work, it all starts to click. This whole theory is backed even more by the meaning of El Vago in Mexican street slang. There, it refers to a person who wanders around the streets all day, gets into trouble, pulls shady stuff, and generally partakes in illegal activities. So it all fits together nicely. The name of the Jamaican gang, Yardies, might, at first glance, sounds like something along the lines of backyarders, since in English, yard usually means a backyard or a garden. But in Jamaica, where people speak a very distinct dialect, easy to recognize if you've ever listened to Real Badman for at least 2 seconds,
Them don't want to give me my money and thing on. Every corner my corner and I want my money and thing, you know. I know so that go, you know, I want to deal with the case proper, you know.
the word yard actually means home. Instead of saying house or home, Jamaicans often just say yard. What's more, the word has an even broader meaning. People from the Jamaican diaspora, that is Jamaicans living abroad, often refer to their homeland as the yard, meaning the home. It's a way of saying that Jamaica is their true home, even if they live in places like London or New York. So if yard means Jamaica, then a yardie is simply a Jamaican person. And the gang known as Yardies in GTA is quite literally just Jamaicans. El Burro is the boss of the Diablos gang, and at the same time, the author and main model of his own adult magazine titled Donkey Does Dallas. That title might sound odd in its grammar structure at first, but in reality, this is a wordplay and a reference to a cult classic 1970s adult film titled Debbie Does Dallas. In that context, does simply means has sex with. So more bluntly, Donkey Does Dallas means the donkey bangs Dallas. Crude, sure, but it fits right into the vulgar and absurd tone of the GTA universe. What's more, the name El Burro literally means the donkey in Spanish, so the whole title becomes another layered joke. El Burro, aka the donkey, stars in his very own masterpiece. Gotta admit, in this whole context, his little magazine ends up being more interesting than the man himself. The name of the desert county west of Las Venturas, so Bone County, most likely references the English phrase dry as a bone, a common idiom used to describe something extremely dry, since a dried out bone is one of the clearest natural images of total dryness. Indeed, Bone County is a barren desert region where dust, sand, and sun-scorched rocks are a constant presence. It's a parched wasteland, and the name reflects that perfectly. Since we're already on the topic of counties, it's worth mentioning Red County, the rural area located north of Los Santos. I'm not 100% certain, but there's a good chance that this name is a subtle reference to US political maps, where red counties are those with a majority of residents vote for the Conservative Party, i.e. Republicans. In the United States, rural communities are often associated with conservative views, and on electoral maps, areas like this are typically marked in red, which could be the origin of the name Red County. In GTA 5, Rockstar took it a step further, with the rural Blaine County talk radio playing a satirical song titled I Like Things Just the Way They Are, a perfect reflection of the mindset of a stereotypical conservative. Next on the list is a golf club in Vice City called Leaf Links Golf Club. The origin of this name in the GTA series is a real bombshell. In theory, sure, you can find some leaves, so at first you might think, it's probably just a reference to all the greenery. But no, that's totally wrong. It's not about leaves at all. The creators actually took inspiration from a location close to home, the capital of Scotland, Edinburgh. In Edinburgh, in the district of Leith, there is a park called Leith Links, which sounds almost identical to Leaf Links. In many British accents, the pronunciation is literally the same because many Brits pronounce TH as F or V, depending on whether a TH is sounded in the given word. Anyway, moving on, what's interesting is that the Leith Links Park originally served as a golf course. The name itself hints at this. Links means a golf course, but in a more traditional Scottish sense. It refers to courses established in coastal areas with naturally undulating, firm terrain. The original term comes from the Old English word hlink, meaning a coastal stretch of land. Because of this, the name Leith Links Golf Club might sound a bit strange, because links already means golf course. So in a loose, direct translation, it's like Golf Club of the Leith Golf Course. It sounds a bit quirky. But the story of Leith in the context of GTA absolutely does not end there. It turns out Rockstar has a clear fondness for this district for some reason. For example, on the fictional Francis International Airport website in GTA 3, you can find Leith listed as one of the destination locations, even though in reality, Leith does not have its own airport. Another mention appears in GTA San Andreas, where Leith International appears on the arrivals board. The mission names in GTA Vice City stories are also full of references. Seriously, practically every mission name is some kind of pop culture nod. For today's selection, I picked the mission Domo Arigato Domestoboto, in which, using a hacked domestic robot, we break into a safe inside Mendez's villa and then burn his bearer bonds. To understand their full mission name, you need to look at the music group Styx, specifically their song Mr. Roboto. And yes, if anyone wonders, Styx is featured on the GTA soundtrack. In the song Mr. Roboto by Styx, a repeated line is Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto. Domo Arigato in Japanese means thank you very much, which perfectly captures the gratitude Vic and Diaz feel toward Domestobot for helping them deliver such a clever blow to their enemies. Of course, there are many more Easter eggs like this in the GTA series, so if you're even a little bit excited about this topic, let me know in the comments. Maybe something else will be recorded from this in the future. Thanks for today. Take care.